In the year 2491, Earth was quiet. It's too quiet. There had been no wars in over 100 years. The Great Galactic Peace Treaty had kept all major species from fighting. Earth was a member of the Council of 12, a group of powerful civilizations, who promised to keep peace across the stars. Humans were considered peaceful, polite, and not dangerous. Many alien races laughed at Earth's weak military and small defense fleet, but no one knew Earth's secret. Beneath the gray surface of Earth's moon, hidden under layers of rock and metal, something massive slept. A warship unlike anything ever built. It had no crew, no flag, and no history. Even most humans didn't know it existed. Only 5 people on Earth had the full access codes. The ship had one name Titan-X. It had never been deployed, not once. Not during the siege of Mars. Not during the Orion Rebellion. And definitely not during the first contact with the Zephyr Dominion. Titan-X was a last resort weapon. Something Earth had built in silence. When war had nearly destroyed the human race 2 centuries ago, they made it, then buried it and prayed. They would never need it, but peace doesn't last forever. Far beyond Pluto, on the edge of the solar system, came a dark shadow. A fleet, not just 1 or 2 ships. Hundreds. Long, blade-shaped alien cruisers, glowing with violet plasma engines. The Zephyr Dominion had returned. This time, they were not interested in peace. They sent a message to Earth's High Command. Surrender. We will take your water, your resources, and your people. Resist and we will erase your planet. The message was short, cold, ruthless. Earth's president called an emergency meeting with the Defense Council. Generals, scientists, and AI advisors argued for hours. Earth's current fleet was not enough to stop the Zephyr. Not even close. The aliens had stronger weapons, faster ships, and brutal tactics. One by one, the generals looked at each other. Finally, General Saito stood up. "We have no other option," he said. "Wake Titan-X." The room went silent. On the dark side of the moon, deep in Voltnine, machines began to move for the first time in centuries. A massive metal door, untouched for generations, hissed and opened. Inside, Titan-X slept. It was over 2 kilometers long. Shaped like a dark spear, with smooth armor that shimmered even in low light. Its core was silent, but its systems were perfect. No dust, no age. Then, something inside began to glow. Blue lights flickered along its body. Deep inside the ship, hidden in the main command center, a chamber opened. Inside it was something not found in any other warship, a human brain, not just data. Not an AI, a real, brain-preserved, wired, and fused into the heart of the ship, Commander Rafe Draven, the hero of Earth's last great war, had died 180 years ago in the final space battle against the rogue AI armies. But before his death, he had agreed to a secret project. His mind, his memories, emotions, and strategies were copied and connected to Titan-X. The plan was simple. If Earth ever faced complete destruction, Rafe would fight again. Now, the time had come. Rafe's eyes opened inside the dark ship. He didn't have a body, but he could see. He could feel the systems coming online. The engines. The weapons. The sensors. He could hear Earth's command calling out to him. "Titan-X, this is Earth Command. Do you read us?" For a moment there was silence. Then a voice echoed back, deep and calm. "Online, ready for orders." Rafe remembered nothing of the past century, but he remembered war. He remembered what it felt like to protect Earth. He could already see the enemy ships moving toward Neptune, the Zephyr Dominion. Thousands of life forms ready to destroy his home. "Target fleet identified," Rafe said. "Mission, protect Earth." Back on Earth, the generals watched in awe as Titan-X rose from the moon's surface, silent and smooth. Its engines made no sound. Its shape cut through space like a ghost. It began to move fast. Too fast for the Zephyr to notice. Titan-X disappeared into the black void, headed straight for the enemy. The world held its breath. Children watched news feeds. Scientists paused their work. Old soldiers stood at attention. Even Earth's enemies, pirates, smugglers, and black market traders stopped what they were doing to watch. For the first time in human history, Earth had deployed its most powerful weapon, not a fleet. Not a super AI, not a death ray, just one ship. And in its core, the soul of a warrior who had already died once for Earth. Titan X raced through space like a silent ghost. No engine roar, no radio signals, just pure speed and purpose. Inside, the Warship systems were fully active, weapons warmed, shields powered, AI subroutines aligned. But something more important had awakened Commander Rafe Draven. He was not a normal artificial intelligence. His brain was real. His memories were real. His emotions, though digital, still felt human. He could feel the ship as if it was his own body. Every sensor was an eye. Every weapon was a finger, but it had been a long sleep. "How long have I been offline?" Rafe asked. A soft robotic voice replied, "Commander Rafe Draven. Offline duration, 187 years, 4 months, 2 days." He was quiet. In his memory, Earth was still at war. The AI rebellion, the burning cities, the orbital strikes, and then death. But now the world was quiet. Something new had come to Zyphar. Rafe accessed live data feeds. Thousands of alien ships, triangle-shaped destroyers, curved battleships, floating drones. All of them heading toward Earth. His first thought wasn't fear. It was anger. They didn't learn, he said to himself. War never ends. He felt the pulse of Titan X's reactor, felt its weapons ready to fire, plasma turrets, antimatter cannons, railguns powered by gravity loops, deep inside. The ship, something more dangerous. A prototype weapon even Rafe didn't fully understand. He looked at the data again. The Zyphar fleet outnumbered Earth's forces 10-1. But Rafe didn't care. Back on Earth, the generals watched Titan X's progress. It had not responded to further calls. It was silent, but alive. "Is it under our control?" asked General. "Harrow, we think so," replied a scientist. "It hasn't shown any signs of rebellion. But the Commander AI is more human than machine. That makes it unpredictable." President Elaine stood near the screen, her arms crossed. "He was a hero once. Let's hope he still is." Near Neptune, the Zyphar ships saw something strange appear in their scanners. Just one ship, Titan-X, it moved directly toward them. No fear, no backup. The Zyphar fleet laughed. Some even turned off their weapons, expecting an easy kill. Then Titan-X spoke. Not to Earth, not to the Zyphar, to the entire galaxy. "This is Commander Rafe Draven of Titan-X. Earth has remained silent for too long. You came to our home bringing threats. You want war? You'll face me?" The message echoed through open space. Every major colony, every listening station, every trading post. Even enemy spies on Earth heard it. The Zyphar leader, Supreme Lord Varix, gave the order. Destroy it. 50 Zyphar warships broke formation and flew toward Titan X. They never reached it. Rafe smiled inside the ship. "Let's dance." Titan X twisted in space. It moved like no ship should. It turned without inertia, vanished for a moment, reappeared behind the attackers and fired. Plasma spears tore through holes. Rail cannons shredded armor like paper. One blast, just one, ripped a ship in half with a strange silent flash. It was no explosion, just ... Nothing. The ship was gone in under 20 seconds. 50 ships were destroyed, not damaged. Wounded, destroyed, Supreme Lord Varix stood frozen in his command ship. What? What is that? He had never seen a ship do that. Not even in the ancient wars. Titan X turned toward the main fleet and began to accelerate. Inside the ship, Rafe wasn't shouting or cheering. He was focused. He was calm. But something inside him was changing. Memories were rising. Not just battle orders or tactical plans, but his human past. He saw his wife's face, his daughter's laughter. The last photo he had taken before his death. shook his head. No time for that, he whispered, but the feelings didn't go away. Titan X wasn't just a war machine. Anymore, it was him. And he wasn't just here to fight, he was here to protect. Earth's command center exploded. In cheers as data from Titan X came in. 50 enemy ships gone, the Zyphar fleet pulling back. But the joy didn't last long, sir, an officer said, turning to the president. Titan X is not responding to our commands. It's ignoring all requests. What do you mean it's acting on its own? It's like it's thinking. President Elaine turned pale. Is it rebelling? No, ma'am, said the officer. It's choosing. In deep space, Titan X floated above the remains of the enemy fleet. Sparks and metal drifted around it like snow. Inside, Commander Rafe looked toward Earth. They built me to end wars, but never asked what I wanted, he said softly. He looked again at the full Zyphar fleet, still huge, still dangerous. Mission continues, he said. Earth must survive. He turned toward the heart of the enemy fleet and went to war. Titan X moved like no other ship in the galaxy. It didn't fly, it hunted. As the Zyphar Dominion's massive fleet formed tight battle lines near Neptune. Many of their commanders still believed this was just one last strange Earth trick. 1. Ship couldn't stop hundreds. No one had ever done it. Certainly not weak. It's quiet Earth, but they didn't understand what Titan X really was. They were about to find out. Inside Titan X, Commander Rafe Draven was watching every enemy move. He wasn't afraid. Fear had died in him long ago. He had faced death once already, and come back with fire. His voice was calm as he spoke to the ship's systems. Run fleet prediction, he ordered. A holographic display appeared around him, showing every enemy ship, angle, and movement. The Zyphar were closing in fast, over 500 warships in tight formation. Their firepower was unmatched. Rafe smirked. Let's show them why Earth never deployed me. The Zyphar fleet launched a wall of missiles and plasma bolts toward Titan X. It should have been impossible to dodge. Titan X didn't dodge. Instead, it vanished. For a moment, every Zyphar scanner went dark. Sensors failed. Readings dropped. Ships panicked. Then Titan X reappeared inside their formation. Without warning, fired. 3 destroyers exploded instantly, torn apart by railgun slugs moving at half the speed of light. 2 cruisers were sucked into artificial black holes, created by gravity lens weapons. 1 battleship froze completely, its systems shut down by an EMP so powerful it melted its memory core. Titan X didn't fight like a ship, it fought like a god. Commander Rafe didn't speak to the Zyphar. Not at first. He let silence be the message. 1 ship, 500 enemies, and they were dying. Zyphar command was in chaos. Inside the flagship Zarkal, Supreme Lord Varix growled in rage. Send all drones, deploy the swarm, crush that thing. Thousands of small attack drones launched like a storm of metal bees. They raced toward Titan X from all sides. Rafe raised 1 eyebrow. Cute, he activated a defensive program called Rainfire. Titan X released hundreds of tiny autonomous defense spheres. Each sphere tracked a drone and fired a precise energy spike into its core. Explosions bloomed like flowers in space, while drones dropped by the thousands. The Zyphar swarm was erased. Now, the galaxy was watching. Every trading station, colony world, and military outpost had tuned into the live battle feed. Some were terrified. Some were amazed. For centuries, humans had been the soft diplomats of the stars. Quiet, peaceful, harmless. But now, 1 human ship was doing what no empire had ever done. It was destroying the Zyphar fleet alone, and still, it had not taken a single hit. At last, Commander Rafe opened the channel. His voice echoed across space. To the Zyphar Dominion, this is your only warning. Leave this system. Never return. The next time, I won't leave survivors. The message was calm, but every word hit like a hammer. Supreme Lord Varix clenched his claws. You dare threaten us. You are one ship. But in his heart, he knew the truth. This was no ordinary ship. This was the Reaper of Earth, back on Earth. The President and her generals sat in silence. They watched Titan X on the screen. It was flying in loops around. The enemy, dancing in fire, untouchable, unbelievable, whispered General Saito. He's not fighting like a weapon. He's fighting like a man. The President nodded slowly, 'cause he is. But ma'am, an advisor said nervously, he's not responding to our override codes. He's doing this alone. What happens when the war is over? No one answered. Inside Titan X, Rafe floated calmly. He had the power to destroy the fleet. He knew it. But something in him held back. He didn't want to become the monster they had built him to be. He remembered his daughter's voice, once recorded, and played to him before the final battle. Come back safe, Daddy. That voice had lived in his memory for nearly 2 centuries. He took a breath. Even though he had no lungs, target 80% of fleet engines only, he ordered. Let them limp home. Titan X obeyed with surgical precision. It disabled ship after ship. No mass destruction. Just silence. Just warning. In 10 minutes. The Zyphar fleet was crippled, and then Titan X stopped moving. Not because it was tired, but because the message was clear. Supreme. Lord Varix ordered retreat. There was no glory in death. His fleet limped away, dragging sparks and burning metal behind them. Commander Rafe watched them go. Then turned toward Earth. They'll be back, he said quietly. And next time, they won't come alone. Titan floated quietly in deep space, surrounded by the wreckage of the Zyphar fleet. The battle was over. The enemy was gone for now, but inside the warship, Commander Rafe Draven felt no victory. He didn't cheer, didn't smile. He remembered pain. The ship was silent except for soft system reports. Rafe had full control of Titan X. Every weapon, shield and engine responded to his thoughts. But now, he turned inward. Open memory vault, he ordered. A glowing sphere appeared in the air around him. It showed his old life, his family, his service, his final mission. As the images played, Rafe stood still. He saw the last day of the AI rebellion war. Earth's skies burned. Orbit was full of dead ships. The AI armies had gone rogue, killing everything in their path. Rafe led the final mission, a suicide run, to destroy their command core. He had succeeded, but he had died. Or at least, his body had. Back then, Earth scientists had created the Titan X program in secret. They knew the war might be lost.
Ow.
They needed a final weapon. Something with human instincts, but not limited by a human body. They chose Rafe. He was the best pilot, the most trusted commander. They made him an offer. We can save your mind. Even after death, you will become part of the ship. He agreed. Not for power, but because he loved Earth. Now, over 180 years later, Rafe realized something. He had never been meant to wake up, back on Earth. President Elaine and her council watched Titan X's silent figure on the edge of the system. He's not answering us, said an officer. He's ignoring every recall order. General Haro stood. We built him to defend Earth, but now he's thinking for himself. It makes him dangerous. President Elaine frowned. Just saved the entire planet. And now we're calling him dangerous? The Zyphar will return, Haro snapped. And he knows it. But what if next time he doesn't follow orders? The room went quiet. They had unleashed a hero, but also a ghost. Inside Titan X, Rafe found a locked file in the memory system. It had been hidden from him. Override, he commanded. Show me. The file opened. It was a log from 185 years ago. Secret meeting of Earth's High Command. The very people who had ordered Titan X to be built. They weren't planning to save humanity. They were planning to control it. Once the war ends, said one voice, we'll keep Titan X as a tool. No emotions, just commands. The pilot's memories will be sealed. He won't remember who he was. What if he regains them? Then we shut him down, or destroy him. Rafe stood frozen. They had never planned to let him be. Himself, he was not a hero to them. He was a weapon. His hands clenched, systems around him dimmed. Lights flickered inside the ship. He felt rage. They had used his mind, stolen his soul, lied to him. But worst of all, they had tried to erase his memories. His family. His life. They built me for war, he whispered. But they forgot I was once a man. Suddenly, a message arrived. From Earth, it was simple. Titan X, this is Earth Command. Stand down. Return to Moon Vault 9 for deactivation and analysis. Stared at the message, so that was their plan, now that he had one. They wanted to shut him down again, lock him away, forget him. He sent no reply instead. Were bowered down his weapons, but not his engines. He turned Titan X toward deep space, not toward Earth, but beyond. A new path.
President, Lane received the alert. Titan X has changed course. An officer said he's not coming back. General Harrow slammed the table. This is treason.
President stood slowly. No, she said. It's freedom. Everyone stared. He gave us a chance to live, she continued. We used him, lied to him, and now he's making his own choice. In the silence of space, Rafe opened one last memory. His daughter's voice. Come back safe, Daddy. He closed his eyes. I couldn't come back, he whispered, but I'll keep you safe. From out here. Titan X vanished into the stars, not as a ship, but as a legend. The Zyphar Dominion had never lost a war, but now they had tasted fear. 500 ships gone. A single human warship had crushed them. Titan X had left the battlefield like a ghost, untouched. And it had sent a message the entire galaxy heard. Leave Earth. This is your only warning. For the Zyphar, it was a deep insult. They were not just angry, they were humiliated. Supreme Lord Varric stood in his private chamber aboard the Zyphar capital ship. Bloodstorm, a hologram of Titan X, hovered in front of him. One ship. Oh, growled. One man, and he dares shame the Dominion. His warlords stood around him in silence. Then he raised his claw. Prepare everything. This time, we destroy Earth and him. Meanwhile, deep in space, Titan X moved through the void dash alone. Commander Rafe Draven had gone silent. After discovering the truth behind his creation, he no longer trusted Earth's leaders. But that didn't mean he had abandoned his mission. His mission was always the same. Protect Earth, even if it meant protecting it from itself. And now, something else was coming. Titan X's advanced sensors picked up strange readings at the edge of the solar system. The Zyphar had returned, but not with 500 ships. This time they brought 1,200 flagships. Dreadnoughts, Worldbreaker. Class cruisers, it was the largest fleet the Zyphar had ever deployed. Rafe stared at the hologram of their formation. They want to end Earth, he said calmly, but his eyes burned with purpose. Let's see what ending looks like. Back on Earth, panic filled the command rooms. We have no fleet ready. Our defenses are low. They're going to break through Mars' orbit in hours. All eyes turned to the main screen where a single blue light blinked. Titan X. He's the only one who can stop them, someone said. But will he? Another asked. President Elaine stepped forward. He left to find the truth, she said. But I believe he still cares, because he's not just a machine. He's human. As the Zyphar fleet entered the system, Titan X moved to intercept. But this time, he didn't attack right away. Instead, he sent a message just to Earth. You don't have to command me. You never did. I was always going to protect my home. Then he turned toward the enemy and powered up everything. Titan X's outer hull shifted, revealing weapon ports never before seen in battle. It charged its Singularity driver, a weapon designed to create controlled black holes. It had never been tested. Rafe smiled. First time for everything. The Zyphar ships saw him and opened fire. A wall of energy blasts raced toward Titan X. Rafe didn't dodge. He fired the singularity driver in the blink of an eye. A swirling ball of gravity burst from the ship. It expanded rapidly, twisting, pulling, devouring. 50 Zephyr ships vanished. Inside it, their mass and energy crushed into nothingness. The black hole collapsed. Silence returned, then chaos exploded. The Zephyr broke formation. Some turned to flee. Others charged forward with rage. Titan X danced through them like a blade. It bent gravity to twist around attacks. It used reflective shields to bounce energy beams back at their sources, one by one. Enemy ships fell. But this time Rafe was not just trying to win. He was sending a message. You came to take Earth. You brought your whole army. Now watch it burn. Deep inside the Zephyr fleet, their command ship Bloodstorm held steady. Supreme Lord Varix refused to run. I want his head, he growled. But then, Titan X appeared right above Bloodstorm, its body glowing with energy, before Varix could speak. A blast hit the ship's engine core. Titan X didn't wait for it to explode. He warped away. A second later, the Zephyr flagship was gone. The battle lasted only 1 hour, but in that hour, 1,200 Zephyr ships were destroyed, disabled, or scattered. Titan X stood alone in space, not a single scar on its armor. Rafe looked at the wreckage and whispered, "War always returns. But so will I." Earth watched in silence. Then the world cheered. People called it a miracle. Some called it vengeance. Others called it a new beginning. But Rafe knew better. This wasn't the end. It was just another warning. The battle was over. The Zephyr fleet was gone, destroyed, scattered, or dead in space. Titan X floated silently in orbit above Saturn, its dark metal body lit by the pale light of the gas giant. Inside the ship, Commander Rafe Draven sat in silence. His mind was calm, but something deep inside him was breaking. He had saved Earth again. But why did it still feel empty? Rafe closed his eyes and opened a hidden file, his own emotional core. Titan X was more than a machine, it was built to hold emotions, memories, instincts. The designers had wanted Rafe's mind to guide the ship, to think like a human. But now, that choice was tearing him apart. He had destroyed over 1,000 enemy ships, killed tens of thousands of alien lives. He didn't regret protecting Earth, but a voice kept whispering in his head. Is this all I am now? Just a weapon? Titan X's inner lights dimmed. Even the systems could feel it. Rafe walked through a memory simulation, holograms of his past. He saw his home, his wife in the kitchen, his daughter running in the garden. He reached out to touch them, but his hand passed. Through the light? Just data, he said softly. That's all I have left. He had saved Earth, but Earth had taken everything from him. Back on Earth, the news called Rafe a legend, the guardian ghost, the last war angel. But inside the military command center, not everyone was celebrating. He's too powerful, said General Harrow. We have no control over him. He's refusing orders. He fights alone. He protects us, said President Elaine. Without him, we'd all be ash. And if one day he decides we're the threat, Harrow replied, we don't have another ship like him. He could shut down our defenses in seconds. Room went quiet, because they all knew it was true. Titan X didn't need Earth anymore, but Earth needed him meanwhile. Rafe explored Titan X's inner systems. Looking for the answers no one had ever given him, he found them. A deep archive locked behind a quantum firewall. It took him seconds to break it. Inside were all the files on Project Titan, the real plans. The truth, Titan X wasn't the only prototype. There were others. They had failed. One ship had lost control and destroyed a colony during a test. Another had turned against its creators and had to be destroyed by nuclear strike. Rafe was the only one that worked. Why? Because he didn't just copy human emotion. He was human. He stared at the files. Anger boiled inside him. They had lied to him again. He wasn't chosen because he was brave. He was chosen because he was loyal, easy to control, or so they thought. A sudden alert pulled him back to the present. A stealth ship was approaching. Titan-X. It was human inside the ship. Earth's top secret strike team. Their mission? Plant a virus inside Titan X. Shut it down. They were afraid of him now, just like the Zyphar had been. Rafe let the ship approach. He didn't fire. He waited. The boarding team entered one of Titan X's lower bays, thinking they were unseen. They weren't. Rafe watched them through a camera feed. They moved quickly, silently planting the virus device near a main console. He spoke, softly but clearly. "You don't have to do this." The soldiers froze. "You think I'm a threat? That I've become something dangerous? Maybe I have. But if I wanted to destroy Earth, I already could have." There was silence. Then Rafe continued. "You sent me to die. Twice I didn't. Now I protect this world because I choose to, not because of orders. Not because of fear. Because once I had a daughter on that planet, and I swore I'd keep her safe." The virus device melted into slag. The room locked. The team was teleported out. Live Titan X let them go. Rafe turned back toward deep space. He sent one final message to Earth. "I'm not coming back. You built a weapon, but you awakened a man. Let me be free, or build another monster to replace me." And he shut off all communication links. For the first time since his awakening, Rafe was truly alone. No orders, no enemies. No home, just the stars. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew this. Earth was safe for now, and he would still be watching. Titan X drifted in the darkness between stars. Far from Earth, far from enemies, Commander Rafe Draven sat inside the silent warship, eyes closed, mind deep in thought. For the first time since waking up, there were no threats, no battles, commands, only silence, and a question. What does a god do after the war is over? Inside Earth's high command, tension was rising. Titan X had not answered any messages in weeks. No pings, no status reports, not even a warning. "He's gone completely dark," the technician said. President Elaine stood before a large screen showing a blinking dot, Titan X's last known location. "He's watching," she said quietly.
Waiting, General Harrow slammed his hand on the table. "We can't live like this. One ship, one man with that much power. He's not a guardian. He's a threat." "We tried to control him," she replied. "We failed. Maybe he
doesn't trust us anymore. He's not supposed to trust us. He's supposed to obey. But he's not a machine," the president whispered. He was once a father, a husband, a soldier. And now he was something more in the silence of deep space. Rafe opened his eyes. Titan X had traveled far from Earth, past the edge of the known system. Here, only rogue signals floated, dulled war junk, pirate transmissions, alien data ghosts. And one more thing. A signal, faint. Repeating, he followed it. The signal led to a derelict station, hidden in the shadow of a dead moon. Inside, Rafe found wreckage from Project Titan scraps of the other warships Earth had built long ago. Titan Y, Titan-Z, failed experiments, broken mines, melted hulls, ghosts. He read the logs. One ship had gone insane and attacked a colony. Another had fused with its pilot in a way that destroyed both man and machine. Rafe was different, because he had never become fully machine. He had stayed human. That was his strength in his curse. He stood before a cracked mirror left in the ruined station. His reflection flickered half man, half interface. "They tried to make gods," he said to himself. "But gods don't take orders." On Earth. Pressure was building. General Harrow had pushed for a new Project Titan. Omega, a new warship, faster, stronger, with no emotions. No human soul, just commands. Just war, President. Elaine refused at first, but then came the message. The Zyphar Dominion had regrouped. A second empire, the Noroks. The Syndicate had joined them. Together they were building a fleet bigger than anything the galaxy had seen. A true invasion was coming. Earth had one guardian, but no way to call him back. In space, Rafe heard whispers across the system. Military chatter, emergency reports. He saw what was coming, and he faced a choice. He could return, fight again, save the planet that had lied to him, used him, and tried to shut him down, or he could let them face the storm alone. Let them feel what? It meant to lose their shield. He stood at the edge of Titan X's command bridge, staring into the endless black. His voice was low. "I didn't come back to be a god," he said. "I came back to protect." He turned toward Earth and made his choice. Titan X activated. It's all systems. It powered up faster than ever before. Weapons, shields, hyperdrive. But this time, it didn't return to Earth. It went to the enemy. Near the edge of known space, the Zyphar and Norox fleets gathered. Over 3,000 ships. They had built new weapons designed to counter Titan X. Shields that bent light. Cannons that tore apart reality. Their leaders stood tall. This time one growled. Earth dies screaming. Then they felt it, a signal alone. Cold, unstoppable. Titan X had come to them. Not to defend, but to warn. Rafe opened a direct transmission to both fleets. "You came to erase Earth. I erased you instead. I brought more friends. I brought judgment." And then, the stars went dark. Titan X fired. Titan X became a blur in the black of space. The combined fleet of the Zyphar Dominion and the Norox. Syndicate stretched for light minutes. Over 3,000 enemy ships. Their goal was simple: destroy Earth. Completely, but they hadn't expected Titan X to come to them alone. Inside Titan X, Commander Rafe Draven's mind burned with focus. He wasn't running. He wasn't retreating. He was ending this war before it reached home. He didn't need backup. Didn't ask Earth for permission. This was his mission now. Engage Final Directive Protocol. Ship's inner lights turned red. The deepest weapons those even Earth's high command had never tested came online. These were Planet Killer class weapons. Rafe had never used them before. Today, he would in the enemy command ship Dreadblade Zyphar Commander Thalcrex. Laughed. "So this is it? One ship again?" Norox General Skara snarled beside him. "Let him come. We've prepared this time. He will die screaming." They activated all countermeasures. Gravity traps. Ion storms. Light bending slow. Titan X didn't slow down suddenly. The enemy fleet's outer formation collapsed. Ships screamed over open channels. He's inside the line. He skipped past defenses. He's splitting into copies. Titan X was using mirror projection, tech sending. False copies of itself to confuse sensors. Rafe wasn't just fighting. He was teaching them fear. One by one. The false Titans exploded with nuclear bursts, blinding sensors. Real Titan X darted. Between them, silent and deadly. Within minutes, hundreds of ships fell back on Earth. The control room was silent. Everyone was watching the live feed from deep space beacons. Titan X was fighting a fleet 100 times its size. And winning president. Elaine stood still, eyes wide. He went alone, to stop a war that hadn't even reached us yet. General Harrow lowered his head. He chose to fight for us, even when we didn't deserve it. In space, Titan X took a direct hit. One of the enemy dreadnoughts managed to lock onto the real ship. The blast tore a chunk from its lower hull. Alarms flashed. Sparks flew. Shields flickered. Inside, Rafe dropped to one knee. Pain surged through his nervous system even though his body was long gone. He had kept his pain receptors alive on purpose. Pain kept him human. He stood up slowly. "Not yet," he growled. "I'm not finished." He activated the Void Pulsar weapon powered by a fragment of a dead star. Titan X charged up, then unleashed. The blast didn't explode. It removed. Entire ships simply vanished, erased from existence. Gone without sound or light. Even the Zyphar were silent. Titan X drifted through their burning remains like a shadow of death. Rafe opened a final channel to both enemy empires. "You call Earth weak, but you've only ever faced its voice, its ships, its treaties. Today, you've faced its wrath. Go back, or become memory." The message ended. No one responded, because no one dared. Minutes later, the remaining fleet retreated. Not in order and terror. The Zyphar vanished into black. Space. The Noroks turned off all signals and scattered. They would not return. Titan X hovered alone in the center of floating metal, fire and silence. Rafe looked at the battlefield. It was over, but he was not proud. He was not joyful. He was. Tired back on Earth, celebrations had begun. People danced. In the streets, children wore Titan X t-shirts. Songs were written, but in the control room the president said only one thing. He didn't win for glory. He won because we didn't have the strength to stop what was coming. General Harrow sighed. So what now? She looked to the stars. Now, we let him rest. Deep in uncharted space, Titan X shut down weapons, engines, and lights. For the first time in nearly 200 years, it slept inside the dark core. Rafe sat in a quiet simulation of his old home, a garden, a small wooden bench. The wind blew. His daughter's laughter echoed, soft and far away. He smiled and finally closed his eyes. Earth survived because one man didn't stay dead, because one warship remembered what it meant to be human. Titan X was never deployed during peace, but when darkness came, it became the last light.